What's up? Welcome to Hanging with Stats, episode number 16. How you doing, Partisan Soup? Um, as some of you know, I do the Stat Guy Show. I do interviews with MPK drivers every week, and this is a little different show that I did last year called Hanging with Stats. It's where I come on and I usually do the recap of the No Prep Kings race most recently, and and then I also give my opinion on things, talk about any topics that are going on at the time, and also take questions from you guys. So this is called Hanging with Stats. It's been a while since I did a little Q&A like this. So I thought I'd do one before the No Prep Kings season starts. What's up, guys? Yeti, how you doing? Brian Cox. What's up, Greg? Mr. Jim Howe, how you doing, man? So I just want to come on, talk about some things that are going on with me. As I said, I do a lot of interviews with drivers, so I don't get to talk a lot, which is how I want it. But last year, one of the fans had said, "Hey, you should really do a show for yourself and do questions and talk about things." And it actually, views wise, did really good. So we're gonna keep doing it, and we're gonna do it this year after every No Prep Kings race. I'll do a review, a review of the race, and give my opinions, talk about the results, the stats, everything like that. So a couple things I wanted to talk about tonight. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to my sponsors in the video playing before here. And I got to put the banners up. I have logos of the sponsors who sponsor me. I appreciate these guys so much, even more than I can explain to them. But they make it possible for me to do things like go to the races and spend time on, spend some money on like media stuff to make myself have better media ability and use better software, stuff like that. So I want to give a shout out to all my sponsors: Richard Rowe, Martin Motorsports, Ryan Martin, Nate Saylor Racing, Bad Intentions Racing, that's Chris Michael, the owner of Gucci, Jim Howe Motorsports, and Kai Kelly. I think that's the last one. Yep, Kai Kelly, another sponsor of mine. So I appreciate those guys so much, man. They make things so much easier for me, give me access to things that I wouldn't normally have access to. So it makes it a lot easier. I'll take some questions as I'm reading it. I do have some things I do want to talk about, but I don't want to ignore you. This is the part of the. So I do this show is to talk to you guys. So what's up, Josh Jones? What's up, Justin? Yeti, am I coming to Washington? I'm not sure. I'm gonna make one of the West Coast trips, whether it's Washington or Idaho or Vegas or somewhere. I'm gonna make one of those. Just haven't decided yet. I won't decide yet. Not until we get closer to it. I've been to Vegas before. I've never been to Washington. I've never been to Idaho. So we'll see. I'll probably go someplace I haven't been yet. That's usually how I like to do things. What's up, John? Logan, why did I change the name to Stat Guy? That's a great question. And it's probably not what you're thinking. I know I got some messages as soon as I did it, and I almost didn't want to do it because I thought I would get some messages saying, "Oh, you're not with Street Outlaws no more," or "What do you do? What are you doing?" That's not the case at all. So what I did was I went on Google and searched Street Outlaws, just the word Street Outlaws in Google. And it took about 18 searches, 18 results down the list for Street Outlaws Stat Guy to show up. So I said, okay. So I'm like, when you search Street Outlaws on Google, I'm the 18th person that comes up. My page is the 18th thing that comes up. And then I went into Google and I just typed in Stat Guy, the word Stat Guy, and literally the first search is my page on Google when you type Stat Guy. So as far as marketing and as far as people having access to my stuff, I figured I would just drop the Street Outlaws and just call myself Stat Guy. That's the easiest way for people to find me. That's the easiest Google searches is just Stat Guy. So that's why I changed it. It had nothing to do with me not doing Street Outlaws anymore. I'm only doing Street Outlaws. I've always only done Street Outlaws. And that is the plan moving forward, to only do Street Outlaws. So, but great question though. I had a lot of messages after I did that, and some were pretty entertaining. What's up, Steven? Yeti, Pro Charger basically a sponsor now. So yeah, I mean, Pro Chargers, they give me free stuff, man. I love it. I met Raven at the first race last year, and he had we had talked a little bit, and he had said, you know, he follows the show and he looks at the stats and stuff like that. So he given me some stuff then, and you know, gave me some more stuff this year. So I love Pro Charger, man. I think their stuff looks cool. Obviously, their product is top notch. So yeah, I like to rock the Pro Charger stuff. What's up, Tommy? What's up, George? I got a couple topics today. Bucci, I just want to give a kind of my plans for this year and stuff like that. Um, so I basically want to recap some of the off season. Um, for me personally, it was a busy off season. My kids are in sports. I have three little kids, as I've probably talked about before. Ages 8, 6, and 5. My two youngest, my boys, they're in wrestling. This off season of No Prep Kings in the winter times wrestling. So they had wrestling all the time, wrestling meets, practices, and then my daughter is in gymnastics, so she has practices and meets. It was a busy time for me. I have my kids 50-50, and then really I see them more than that because they always have practices and events and meets that I go to as well. So that plus my work schedule. At work, we a lot of overtime and stuff like that. We're going through ERP change. We changed our ERP system and stuff like that. So I had to go through that whole change. And then I'm also doing social media for a driver, doing their page. I won't say who, just because I haven't asked them if I can talk about it. What's up, Chris Micah? How you doing, buddy? Thank you for everything you do, man. Um, I'm doing social media for another driver and doing my own social media, so it's a lot going on this off season for me. And but I've still been trying to do interviews regularly. Who is my favorite driver? That is a loaded question if I ever heard one before. I did post that I'd answer most questions, and that's not included in the most questions. So um, that reminds me. So Cherish Martin, Ryan's wife. When I had Gucci, I had Chris Michael and Giuseppe on one night for an interview a while back. Ryan came on too, and he had asked me a question about who do I think is the biggest guesser in No Prep Kings, guessing on the light, and I wouldn't answer it. And his Cherish, Ryan's wife, said that I was being very what was it? What's the country? Like very neutral. I don't remember the country. Very Switzerland. Yes, that's what it was. Switzerland. So that's how I am. If you know anything about following my page or anything I do, I keep it as neutral as possible. I'm here to support the drivers and support Street Outlaws. I'll never want a driver mad at me for anything I say or think of me in a different way for anything I say. On the same token, I do speak the truth when I do say things. So it's not like I'm scared to say stuff. I'm not the TMZ of No Prep Kings. I'm not trying to get views that way. I'm not trying to do things like that. I'm just here supporting the guys, really supporting the show, of course. So Jim, how? Yeah. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just here to support. But I'm trying to do interviews regularly. Again, I've been doing interviews. I'd like to get some people I've never had on before. Obviously, I love having the guys who have been on already come on again. If a driver sees this, if you want anything to talk about in particular, just reach out to me, man. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of, and I have a pretty open schedule at nighttime during the week. So, and then I was looking at it. So basically, I started doing the live feeds last year in February. So we're just over a year, about 60 weeks. I've done 80 live feeds in 60 weeks. So I'm averaging more than one a week. And I've noticed with social media, and that includes making posts on your Facebook and stuff like that, or the live feeds. Like if you want to stay relevant, if you want to stay on people's minds, if you want to keep getting views and build your brand, you have to stay with it and you have to do it daily and weekly. You have to grind on it. And I'll be honest, man, with a lot of other things going on, it's hard sometimes. There's like this week, I was supposed to do an interview with the driver. I was going to do an interview with the driver this week. And in my mind, I was like, if they don't respond, if they don't want to do it this week, if they cancel or we can't come up with a time and date, I'm okay with that. I'm not going to sweat it. I'll take a week off. It's fine. But here I am. No interview, but here I am on a Friday doing one of these hanging with stats. So I'm trying, man. I'm trying to do the interviews. And I hate to say getting a little stale with it, but like I don't know. Maybe I need to interview some new people I haven't interviewed before. Maybe I've thought about. I'm always trying to do things that nobody does and keep things fresh. Just like Street Outlaws does, changing stuff every year. You don't want to keep doing the same thing over and over. I've thought about bringing a co-host on again and doing it with somebody else. I think that would be fun. But then then you run into scheduling conflicts, and 2 people, 3 people got to be on the same schedule. Um, uh, so it's tough right now. But I'm gonna keep doing the live feeds. I'm gonna keep doing it, especially during No Prep King season. Like that's where we're gonna get the most social media stuff out of me for sure. During this off season, my Facebook reached over 50,000 followers, so that was a huge milestone for me. I can't imagine um, ever getting that many. So I appreciate all you fans following me, watching my live feeds, checking the stats, stuff like that. So I really appreciate that. I've had my Facebook it'll be 2 years in April. So it's going good. Everything's going good there. There were some things I wanted to talk about this offseason. Let's look at some of the questions here. I know I talked there for a bit. Packers for the win. Hell yeah. Packers made some good moves this offseason so far. A couple moves I didn't like, but that's just the fan in me. What's your most Stacy has a question. What's your most memorable Street Outlaws races that surprised you? That surprised me. Man, that's a tough question. There's a lot of stuff that happens that I get surprised by. My most memorable Street Outlaws, one that comes to mind is going to Tulsa this year in the middle of summer when it was like 100 some degrees, and thinking like, do I just go back to the hotel and sit in my hotel in the air conditioning and just watch a live stream from Upshift and just do my stats and not even go to the races? I really contemplated that for about 5 minutes, and I said, no, man, I'm here. Let's just do this. I'm gonna lose about 10, 15 pounds. I'm gonna sweat my ass off the whole time. But that was probably my most memorable time of Street Outlaws, was being miserable. No. Um, Races, that's a question. Good races that surprised me. I mean, anybody winning their first event or winning, it doesn't really surprise me. I will say it was nice to see Sean Murder Nova do so well this year, because I've been like a fan of him as a person on the show, and meeting him this year and stuff like that. He's such a nice guy. Um, but he had struggled, no Prep Kings. He hadn't really done well. So for him to do so well this year, that was awesome to see. I was happy about that. So it was kudos to Murder Nova. Terry Leclue, your favorite driver is your uncle giving you a ride in the '86 IROC. The purple IROC, I remember that. Yep, you're probably the reason I love third gen Camaros, because that was the first fast car I've ever ridden in. What do we got for bring some crew guys on? Yeah, I could do that, Jim. For sure. I know I brought on some crew guys last year. That's a good idea. I brought on I brought Jimmy on, and I brought B-Rad's kid on. Thank you, Bucci. Appreciate you. Stinky Pinky. Yeah, I got to get Stinky Pinky on one of these times. We tried to a couple times last year. I think it was during the season too, so it just wasn't going to work out with time, and the person, I got to be available. They got to be available. We both got to have good Wi-Fi. It's connection. Otherwise, you get crappy live feeds, which I do get no matter what. Sometimes anyway, you can't do anything about it. But hey, Melissa, you just told who your favorite driver was. Who would I say my favorite driver was? Rich. I didn't answer that question. So some of the things that happened during the off season, as always, and I wanted to talk about a little bit. One thing that's caught my eye is the number of drivers that have multiple cars with multiple combinations this year. I've spoken on this before, and every year, No Prep Games gets more competitive. Everybody ups the ante every year. You get more cars, faster cars, more bigger group of faster cars. They get closer together in times. First to 10th place is a smaller gap than it was the year before. Um, and this the seems like the strategy this year is to have two cars with two combinations at the race, or plan to go to the race, and to pick which one you want to drive that week based on the race conditions, the times, everything like that. So it's a strategy that I think is a great strategy. It gives you your best chance to win, honestly, in my opinion. So not that it, I mean, you still have to go out there and drive. You still have to have luck. And you still have to not break, and you have to have everything go right. Don't get me wrong, but having two cars with two combinations, I mean, based on the rules, based on the weather, based on the altitude, track conditions, that'll give you your best chance, in my opinion, to win. So it'll be interesting. I know of at least three drivers that are going to have a couple cars. So are different combinations more difficult to tune versus conditions? I don't know shit about that, honestly, but I think so. Um, it seems like people have talked about that before. I've heard people talk about drivers or tuners talk about that. Um, I know having drivers on, some of the turbo guys talk about the turbos are the hardest to tune compared to other combinations, just in general. So yeah, that's why there's professional tuners, and that's why there's not professional tuners. But one interesting thing we saw was the unofficial rules coming out, talking about Pro Charger and screw blower. So apparently, the screw blower will go up to 98 overdrive, which is last year they were at 92, and they'll be bumped back up to 98. So 2 years ago they were at 98. Last year they took a hit because they thought the screw blower at 98 was too powerful compared to the rest of the field. So they brought it back down to 92 last year. And then they decided that it needed to go back up again. So they brought it back up to 98 this year. The last race of the season. What's up, Kev? How you doing, buddy? The last race of the season in Arizona was supposedly a season 7 qualifying race, but they let the screw blowers at 98 there. I don't know if everybody. I know everybody now with a screw blower didn't have a 98, didn't do 98 overdrive. So anyway, so that changed there. And then the Pro Charger, the F136, F4 136 is now got 50 pounds added to it. Last year, the rules are the 140 Pro Charger was 100 pounds heavier than the 136. So at some point during the season, basically almost 80% of the guys who had the 140 switched to 136 by the end of the year. It was just that last year was the combination to have that, for sure. That was the combination to have. Just like 2 years before that, or the year before that, I think screw blower was the best combination to have. But so they added 50 pounds to the Pro Charger, the F4 136, and we will see how it goes. I don't know enough about that stuff to know how much it mattered. I just know that there was a lot of Pro Chargers people last year, a lot of people with the Pro Chargers last year that did well with the F4 136. Now, the guy who won the championship had a screw blower. So, Kai, so he did pretty well with a screw blower, I would say, last year. But anyway, I hope it's as equal as it possibly can be. I know that's why they do the rules, to get it as equal as possible. So I hope it is the new rules. I hope they're dead on the nuts, equal, and the best team with the best, most consistent driving, most consistent tuning, most consistent non-parts failures will win the championship. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I'm excited. I know it's a little weird this year. So the turbo setup last year had its worst ever year. Nobody did well with turbos last year as far as point standings go. But I see Scott Taylor has a Pro Charger. I mean, a turbo setup, twin turbos in his old car, his new old car. And Jimmy Taylor going to have a car with turbos in it. So I know Jim Howe. I think it was Jim Howe explained why car on my last interview explained why the turbos have a good setup this year. So if you want to watch my last interview, you will see Jim Howe explains it more than I can because I don't know shit about it. But so apparently they changed something with the gates, waste gates, I think, on the turbo to make them more effective. So it'll be interesting. Um, nitrous is always, Musi Power is always a contender every year, no matter what the rules are. Nitrous is always up there. So we'll see how nitrous. There won't be very many nitrous this year, but we'll see how they do. So I'm interested to see, man. It's gonna be an exciting season for sure. Um, I know there's been a lot of grumblings about the schedule and who won't make it, who will make it, who's racing this year, who's not racing this year. All I know is every year you hear rumors that this guy's not racing, this person's not racing. I'm only going to the first race. I'm gonna see how it goes. And then like everybody happens every year, everybody goes to the first race and then they get that need to do it more. Like they get the need for speed. Like they're like, and the need for the competition and the need for seeing your people again, seeing the No Prep Kings family, seeing everybody again. You're like, I miss it. I want to do this every week. And a lot of people do it every week. I'm not saying everybody's coming back. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that I think there'll be a strong No Prep Kings field again this year, filled with a lot of fast drivers. So it should be good. As you know, there's a 15 race season, 15 scheduled races as of now. What's up, Richard Rowe? Love you, man. Um, 15 races. The ones I plan to be at. So I'm going to go to the first race in Maple Grove because I got to be at the first race. I didn't really want to go that far. Last year, my far races, I went to Texas and I went to Colorado. So 2 of the races I went to last year were far. The other 5 races I drove. So I didn't really want to drive or fly or even anything to Maple Grove, but it's the first race, so I got to go. And then I won't be to another race until it starts go to the Midwest again. So plan on going to Ohio, Illinois, Missouri, Minnesota, maybe Kentucky. And then I plan to do a West Coast trip, one of the West Coast tracks, Idaho, Washington, one of those, or Vegas. And then I'm not going to Texas in July, I'll tell you that. I lived in Texas. So I'm not going to go there in July because I think it will be very similar to going to Tulsa last year in August. So not a fan of the not a fan of the hot weather. So I won't be going to there. But I have a feeling there might be some more races down south. Maybe added to the schedule. We'll see. Every year, No Street Outlaws adds races to the schedule. It seems like puts them in here. Schedules moved. Dates get moved. A race might get canceled, or rained out, or moved, or something might happen, and that kind of throws everything off. So, like last year, Texas got rained out, so they made it like 3 weeks later. So that's always tend to happen with long schedules like that. Things will change. But yeah, so I plan to hit another 7. I did 7 races last year. I plan to hit probably at least another 7 this year, depending how it goes. So, yeah, I do have some plans for the. Here, let me look at some comments here. Questions. I start rambling on, and I don't even think about looking at the comments. Is it strange when Kai is the champion, they give Screws 98 when Ryan wins, they add weight? Bucci, I know you're trying to think of like a conspiracy thing here, but I don't think that's what it is, man. Kai won the championship with a screw blower, but he was really the only one that dominated did really, really well with the screw blower. It's just him. Now, people that normally do, because if you look at it, just look at it from what it is. People that normally do well with screw is Justin, Jim Howe. And they had off years. Now, was it because of the screw? I don't know. Maybe they just had bad luck, right? But they had off years. So really, you only had Kai. And then if you look at the pro chargers, you had Damon, Nate, Ryan, Murdanova, Gucci, Kayla, Axeman. Like they all your top 10. I think it was like 6, 7 of your top 10 or something had a pro charger. Anyway, that's what I think they were looking at. That's in my mind. That's at least what I think they're looking at. But if you're looking for like some kind of conspiracy or some kind of dig on Ryan, I don't think you're going to find it there. Um, Cody Tapp, 187 Customs will miss the 4th race, but will make the rest of his son's graduate. Rest for his son's graduation. Oh, is that a fact? Anyone out this year that ran last year? I don't know 100% for sure, Terry. And I don't want to. If they haven't announced it, I really don't want to let the cat out of the bag and announce that they won't be doing it. But I know a couple guys for sure won't be doing it. Um, but they might not have been necessarily full-time guys last year anyway. So I would say like the core guys, the heart of the guys, the most. I mean, last year I think there was my stats I think said 47 drivers raced in an invitational last year. 47 different drivers. Now of those 47, by the end of the year there was probably only like 40 guys left that come in every week. So I would say a good portion of those 40 guys that ran it last year will be racing again this year. So um, me too, Tiffany. Here we go, Rankin. Here we go, Turbo Guy. Those E-gate wastegates will only be more effective on really good surfaces, not going to work on marginal surfaces. So will not help us in the MPK. I'm sorry. Thanks for. Oh, there you go. See, they're not gonna help. I just found a little bit weird, Chris, that all of a sudden Scott, for the first time I think ever that I could think of, go to twin turbo. Jimmy Taylor's got another car with twin turbos now. Maybe they're just trying something new, right? But obviously, Chris, you know about it. So um, he lost his map and followed his heart to Texas and poof, there we are. There you go, Sam. See you in Pennsylvania, John. Oh yeah, sorry, Jay. I will be in Michigan too. I missed that on the race. Yep, September. It's a little earlier this year in Michigan than there was last year, so it'll be a little nicer, I think. I hope. But I know Michigan weather is just like Wisconsin weather. So typically, end of September should be really nice weather. But it could be cold too. They could have all of a sudden a cold span of 3 or 4 days where it's like 30 degrees. You know what I mean? That's that can happen in September. So, but let's just pray for that. Hope it doesn't happen. Jim Howe, Junior, yes, Pro Charger did win the most rounds by far. I mean, yeah, they did. There's no hiding it. They did. Now there were a lot more Pro Charger cars as well, but the percentage wise, yes, Pro Charger won a lot more. I know that's why. That's why they changed the 98 overdrive, because just exactly why the same everything. It happens every year. There's kind of one combination that people figure it out, and the good fast guys figure it out, and they kind of separate themselves just a little bit from the rest of the field. And that happened 2 years ago with the screw blowers. And now this past year was the Pro Chargers. So this year we'll see. But that's why they do that, man. They try to make it as fair as possible. Oop, sorry. So at this point, do you feel comfortable announcing that Monza will be back? I do not feel comfortable announcing that. So my plans for this year of No Prep Kings. Every year I'm always in my time of I'm by myself thinking. I'm always trying to do stuff to add to just the experience, to add to the what I do, to do stuff that thinks kind of outside the box a little bit that nobody else does. One thing I want to do this year is for sure is do more videos and pictures while I'm at the races. Now I'm not doing anything new that nobody else does by doing that. There are a lot of great photographers there that do a lot of stuff, and they're obviously I'm not gonna step in this live streaming game and do what Upshift or Don Will does. I'm not trying to be or do what they do. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna take more videos, do more social media stuff. Last year was like I try to get. I know I went to 7 races, but I was always trying to like feel out how everything goes about, who does what are good times to do this part, where I should be at this. How do I, because I'm trying to be down by the drivers meeting when they're talking. I'm trying to figure out what's going on for points or rosters or teams, schedule wise. Then I'm trying to do, trying to do my stuff where I meet the drivers, say hi to them when I'm there. It's a busy weekend. So I just try to get the lay of the land basically last year. So this year I'm going to do more videos, more like shoot more videos from my phone, um, not live stream, but the actual videos, and obviously a lot more media pictures and stuff like that. I know last year I used. Thank you to all you photographers out there. I tagged y'all every time I posted a picture, but I used. Thank God for them. Otherwise, my stats would be kind of boring with no pictures involved. So I'm going to try to do my own, so I don't got to steal theirs this year. That's kind of how I look at it. I'm going to try to take my own pictures, use my own media on my social media pages. So that's the plan there. I do have a little new thing I'm going to try out and see how it goes. Thinking of a game, and I kind of piggyback this off of someone I saw. Hey, Doc, how you doing? How do you think Doc will do this year in MPK? Doc, now that we're back to individuals and you don't got to rely on somebody picking you up every week to even get a chance at racing, I think you're going to do a hell of a lot better than you did last year, Doc. I know I believe you won a Outlaw Big Tire, at least one. You were flying, man. There was times where I was like, damn. And I stand at the line and I talk with all the guys and I do some gambling and stuff like that. And there was a race. I don't remember which race, but everybody was like, damn, like there was a lot of people picking Doc to win races. So it was cool to see, Doc. I'm always rooting for you, man. You're a nice guy. So I think you're definitely going to do better this year for sure, buddy. What I want to do this year, and I'm piggybacking off of Nolan from Iski, but he had done a little like interview thing with drivers in the pits. I think it was 2 years ago, where he asked them like 25 or 30 questions, just quick questions off the top of his head, like this or this. Or he'd be like, oranges or apples, like pick one, or like showers or baths. It was a cool little thing. So I'm going to kind of do something a little similar to that, but not copying him. It's got a little interview thing called reaction time. I'm gonna call it. So basically, what I'm gonna do is get with a driver, and it's not gonna be live stream. It'll just be recorded. And I'm basically what I'll do is I'll play like a little game of, I'll say one word or one name, and I want them to quickly react with an answer of one word or one name. So, like for example, if I say it could be about anything. So if I say hot, and they respond Texas, okay? Or if I say David Gates and they respond fast, something like that. Basically, a little back and forth game I want to play. I think it could be funny. I think it could be entertaining. So I'm gonna give that a little go, see how it goes, and just basically some more content, some more things that kind of outside the box that people might enjoy. And obviously, I'm not gonna do a live feed of it. I'm going to record it so that if a driver may say something they didn't want to say, because I feel like that could happen a couple times, that they won't be stuck saying it. I can just delete it from the thing. So I'll probably stick to 10 questions and then keep 5 of them based on their answers. Hope you want to have entertaining ones too. So, but I think that's one little thing I want to do. Add to the media part. And really what I want to do big time is doing more of a pit tour. I know last year I basically went around as I was meeting the drivers, because I always like to say hi to all the drivers I can when they're not busy. So basically Friday mornings is when I do it. I was taking pictures of the car. So I want to do a little bit better job of that. Maybe doing some live streaming then during the pit tour, but it's hard to live stream. Especially if the weather's hot or if there's just bad reception, stuff like that. But hey, Paul, how you doing, man? Am I up for my second round draft pick? I'm in a fantasy No Prep Kings fantasy league. So we're currently in our draft. We're drafting live, 10 of us. So, but yeah, so I just plan to expand a little more. Now I know when the right times to do things are to get content. Another thing I wanted to talk about real quick was I get a lot of messages and comments from people saying, "Hey, I was at the race. I didn't get to see you. I wanted to meet you." And it's hard. It's hard. I get it, because I don't have like a home base. I don't have like, hey, I have my rig here, parked here for the whole weekend. Come stop by and see me. I am all over the place doing media stuff, getting my stuff. Um, and so this year I'm going to concentrate on doing that more, is stopping and sitting down and being at a place for a while. So I think what I'll do this year is maybe make a post probably on Facebook on a Friday, and then I'll do it again on Saturday and say, hey, I'm going to be at so and so's merch tent for the next hour or two. If you want to come say hi and meet me, because I feel like I um, want to meet the fans that watch my show. You know what I mean? I've met a lot of you, and we have great conversations. It's crazy to me um, that you all enjoy it so much, but I feel like I don't give enough time to meet you guys, and I just have to do a better job logistically to be available to do that. Because when the racing is going on, when the race is going on, I'm not in the stands watching the races. I am literally at the line because I want to be right down to the action. So I don't interact with fans during that time either. And then it seems like when I'm not down at the line watching the races, I'm in the pits trying to talk to drivers and get information and stuff like that. So, um, yeah, Jim, I do. I need a bright neon green Stack Eye Show shirt. Uh, that would be actually a good, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll hang a sign, have a big old top hat sign too, so you can catch me in a crowd. Um, but that's my plan, to be more available. And then obviously this year, just continue with the stats and the results. I get them live. As long as I'm allowed to keep posting them live, I will do that. I always took the stance. I know fans get on my page and they get mad because they don't know. And I apologize. Like, maybe I could have a disclaimer. I should have a disclaimer before you get on my page that I do post the results um, basically as they happen. And some people hate that. And all I can say is that if there was a gag order put on me and said, I don't want you posting the live stats anymore, then I wouldn't do it, and I would have no problem with it. I really wouldn't. Um, it's just the fact, if the reason I do it is because if I don't, someone else will. Especially now, because I probably have enough stats out there posted that somebody could just take the stats and start doing their own thing with it. I don't recommend it because it's a lot of work, but they could. But when it comes to Street Outlaws, like, I'm gonna do what Street Outlaws wants me or doesn't want me to do. And I'll be honest, there's things that I've been told I can't do, so I don't do them. And it doesn't clearly, it doesn't hasn't affected what I got going on. So I will continue to do the live stats. If it's not something you want to see, then just don't follow my page during No Prep King season. Um, and you won't have a problem. But like I said, I don't need to do it. I don't have to do it. I only do it because if I don't, somebody else will. So I might as well be the one to do it. That's kind of how I look at it. One of the plans I'm going to do, as you saw on the schedule, there is another break in the middle of a No Prep King season, like another like 5, 6 weeks off. I'm gonna do another No Prep Kings car show like I did last year. That was a hit. I didn't think it was gonna be that crazy and that successful and that many voting on it and everything. But it was awesome. It went really good. I did head-to-head matchups of the No Prep Kings cars from that season. Sean Murder his car ended up winning the whole thing. It was the best looking car, and I will say um, there's a lot of really good looking cars, and there will be again this year. But I think it was a cool fan interaction where the fans got to pick the award, and I got a big old spent a good amount of money, got a big old trophy, sent it to Murder Nova for that. So I'll be gonna do that again during the off season. I'll do a No Prep Kings car show. So because a lot of these guys, man, a lot of these guys, they're not just race cars. Like, some of them could be actual show cars. So, and I don't know if you guys can tell that on TV. First, you can't really tell it on TV, but when you see it live, it just gives opportunity, appreciation to those who take a lot of time and put a lot of money and time into making their car look nice while they're out there, as well as being fast. So, yeah, those are my plans. That's my plans for the year. I'm excited to get No Prep Kings going again, man. It's going to be a great season. Um, I don't know. Did I see a question about when does Outlaws return to Go Discovery? As of right now, I believe it's coming out in April. I believe season 6 will start airing in April. One thing I was thinking about is I had thought about posting the stats again on season throughout season 6 as it airs, so you get like a recap again of the stats. The only problem is season 6 is going to be airing, from what I hear, the same time season 7 will be going live. So I could be possibly posting two different seasons of stats at the same time, and I think that might get people confused. So I'm going to see how it goes. I just don't want people to be like, "Oh, well, they did this in season 6, or they do this in season 7." So we'll see. If you want to look at my page, you can get all the stats from last year. I have all the posts. I didn't delete any of them. I have up to date stats, points, everything like that. Obviously, when I get to the first race, I'm going to find out the points. The points breakdown this year again, and the rules and everything like that. I know last year there was a huge. Last year there was. I actually had to make a video explaining exactly how the points worked last year because of the teams competition and which was which. Because I was just sick of seeing every time I posted anything, there was just tons of comments about. I thought the grade 8 was this, and I thought the individual champion was this, and how can you be first place in grade 8 but not racing it the next week and all this stuff. So I will find out at the first race. I'm guessing that's when I'll find out. So once I find out what they are and I get them broken down for me, I will break it down for you guys again as well, so you guys can keep track on the live feeds or go to the races. I recommend going to the races to see them. It's an experience that I don't know, man. I wasn't always a drag racing fan. I'd never really gone to big time drag races, and it's cool, man. It's really cool. If you have never gone to one, a No Prep Kings event, you need to go. The access to the drivers, um, and talking to them and getting autographs or pictures or just talking to them is they're readily available all weekend. Obviously they have their times where they're working on their car or they got TV interviews to do or they're racing, but it's if you are fans of certain of the No Prep Kings drivers going to a race, you're gonna get if you want to meet them, you're gonna get a chance to meet them. So, and I'll tell you, most of them, almost all of them, are really nice people. So, and some of them even are nice compared to what they're portrayed on TV. So, I recommend going to a race, and if you do, you know get what you can afford. But if you can afford the VIP down by the track, those are the ones to get. The atmosphere is awesome. It's loud cars. You're gonna get full of rubber from the burnouts, and your eyes are gonna water from the alcohol. But you're gonna love it. It's gonna be awesome. And then there's a lot of gambling going on too. I know it's probably not talked about too much, but yeah, there's a lot of gambling on the starting line and along the VIP sides of the track. Um, I partake in it sometimes. But it's an atmosphere that you would love. So if you love drag racing, No Prep Kings is where it's at. I'm telling you right now. What's up, Lindsay? How you doing? That's pretty much all I wanted to cover tonight. If you got any questions, I'll try to look back on questions. What's up, Tony, buddy? How you doing, man? Um, See you, Jim Howe, buddy. Thanks for coming on. So if you got any questions, post them up quick. I'll stay on. KY, I'm definitely gonna find you. Because I need to. I like to gamble, bro, and I don't have enough time. I gotta watch the races. You know what I mean? So my gambling has to be like before or after. They have to be like bulk gambling. I mean, like getting into gambling pools and stuff like that. The race by race gambling that a lot of the guys do at the line. I just don't have the. I don't got the time to do that. I got to do stats and shit like that. But I'll definitely come see you, KY, for sure. I know you're the guy to see. See if we got any questions that I missed. Drew, what about Mike Murillo? Is his health going to keep him out this year? Yeah, I believe Mike. If you want to go to his Facebook page, I believe he posted something that I don't know if he's going to race at all, or maybe the second half of the year or something like that. But I didn't. It didn't seem like he was going to race right away. So, but like I said, I caught it on his Facebook, and I can't remember exactly what he said. Jerry Clark, free Slinky. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that one. Not gonna touch that. I don't like to get involved in stuff that ain't got nothing to do with me. So if I haven't been to if you haven't been to a race and are going for autograph, get in early on Friday, race Saturday. Everyone's running the 40K. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not if you don't know, like if you're trying to get autographs of your favorite driver and your favorite driver happens to be really popular, there's going to be a long line if you don't get there early. So, and you might get there early and it still might be a long line. But if you don't mind waiting in line for a little while, maybe half hour, maybe longer, you'll get a chance to meet your favorite driver. So say hi to him, get a picture. It's a great experience. What combo will win the championships this year? Right here, baby. Pro Charger. A Pro Charger car will win the championship this year. Calling it right now. That's an easy one, KY. Uh, how many years in a row has a Pro Charger won the? Well, I guess yeah, I should say that. Kai won the championship last year. Kai had a screw blower. He won the individual championship. So, and Ryan won it with the Pro Charger. Ryan won it with a Pro Charger. Ryan won it with twin turbos. Yeah, Pro Charger's winning it this year. Sorry, Doc. Now, if I got free shit from Noonan or not Noonan, whoever makes screw blowers, I don't even know. I just know a lot of screw blowers run Noonan, but if I got free shit from them, I'd be saying that. But no, I'm just joking. I don't know. In all honesty, I don't know who's going to win it this year, man. I I think it doesn't matter. I don't honestly think the combination doesn't matter. I think it's a driver, right? I mean, we've seen Kai take second place a bunch with nitrous, and he won with screw blower. We've seen Ryan win with turbos, twin turbos, and pro chargers. Um, we've seen guys do really well with multiple combinations. We've seen Jim Howe do really well with screw blower. We've seen Swanstrom do really well with screw blower. Um, so I don't know, man. Honestly, I don't know. I think it's a driver. I'm not going to answer what driver I think is going to win, but I think these guys, if you're good, you're good. If you got the best of the best stuff, if you got the best of the best work ethic, if you got some luck in there, it doesn't matter what combination you have, man. Exactly, KY. It's about the consistency in parts, man. It's exactly right. 100%. Yep, Doc, for sure, man. Everything has a part in it. Luck, man. I say it a lot, but man, sometimes people break stuff and it's just totally luck. Like it's just a bad luck, man. Like it's just something that broke that would never break ever. Just all of a sudden broke, and then they get a loss, and also they don't win that race. So I see it time and time again. Like after the first couple of rounds, you can kind of tell who's running. I mean, there's no times posted, but you can kind of tell. I mean, I stand down there and I watch pretty closely. You can stand down there and you can see like that guy's running fast. Like that car looked fast on that pass. And then they'll come on the third round and they'll break something. You're like, wow, he might have been the fastest car on the property that day, but he has some bad luck shit happen. Now he didn't win. You know what I mean? So everything plays a part in it. But every year there's the same few people are up there, right? This was the first year actually that the top 5 was kind of different than normal because it's usually Ryan, Kai, Lizzie, Swanstrom. Like that's usually your top 3, 4 people most of the time. But last year that changed a little bit. So yeah, I just think there's more competition this year, of course. But I think it's come down to the driver more than the combination, I guess. Yeah, a lot of races were won at the tree last year. I know. Jim Howe's off of here right now, but um, a lot of races were won at the tree. How fast is Scott Taylor now with twins? I don't know. I've been watching. Obviously, I follow Scott's Facebook. He said it was first time over 200 miles an hour, and then he was going for a point .9 something on the 60-foot. So if he can get right, I mean, if he can get that pretty quick 60-foot with twin turbos, and then he's going over 200 miles an hour, he's got it dialed in. He might be somebody to watch out for with those twin turbos. Who'll be my next guest? I'm not exactly sure. I don't want to announce it, obviously, and get someone's hopes up. But I will have a guest next week. I don't know what day yet. But we'll get back to doing some interviews next week again. Who do you think or want to win the most improved driver? Last year, Sean was. Man, that's a good question. I have to look at my stats. I really think there's some people who are going to make a big jump. One person that comes to mind of being most improved is Paige Coughlin. She obviously had a great year last year for being in her first year. I think she ended up top 20 in the points. I could see her making a big run towards the top 10. You know what I mean, like top people. So I think I could see early on right now. I think I could see Paige maybe winning most improved. Jimmy Taylor. I know Jimmy Taylor came in halfway through the year and he was fast. Jimmy Taylor was really fast. And now, these two people I just mentioned, Paige and Jimmy, they were rookies last year. They were still getting like the feel of the whole thing. So they're coming back for a second year. I know both of them are full go. They're racing this year, full schedule. So I could see Jimmy being the most improved. Man, there's going to be a lot of fast people again this year. It's going to be crazy. Dave, what's so funny, Dave? Right? Scott Taylor needs to win an event. Like I hope Scott Taylor wins an event this year. I really do. He is such a nice guy. He is so fast. Like he's a competitor. He's fast. He's top 5. I think he's 5th all time. No Prep Kings round wins. Like he's just consistently fast. He had a bit of a down year. I had him on for an interview not too long ago. But I really like Scott, and I really hope he wins one. Dave won his first one last year, so that was cool to see. Sean's got to win one yet. I know Sean won a couple of grade 8s. But I saw Sean had an interview. He said something about how it ain't the same. Like he wants to win an invitational. Like that's what it's gonna be back to this year. No more teams. Which is interesting. I thought the teams. I like when Street Outlaws switches it up. I really do. I don't like the same shit over and over. Not that it's going back to that. It's gonna be the same shit. But they did Team Attack 2 years ago. Last year they did grade, or 3 years ago was Team Attack. 2 years ago they graded grade 8. This year they did teams. No more teams. So we'll see what's a Friday night. Maybe they'll go back to the grade 8 again. Maybe they'll go to Team Attack. No more teams. So maybe they'll just do grade 8. I don't know what they'll do on Friday nights, but I'm excited. Hell yeah, KY. When is season 6 going to air? Richard Rowe said it's going to air in April. And then, yeah, I don't know. Last time I posted something that one of the drivers posted, it happened to be wrong. So I'm not going to post until Street Outlaws posts it. Have you heard from the horse's mouth of who's not coming back? No, I've heard a lot of rumors. I hear lots of rumors, obviously. I don't know. I don't know for sure. There ain't nobody I know like, hey, they're not coming back for sure. But David, I think he was right. Paige, Clay, Jimmy. See, Dave's just throwing out numbers like trying to get people going. Yeah, it's Dave. You're just going right. It's going along with what everybody says. All the pro treasure guys are like, we're going to struggle this year with the weight. screwblower guys that got the 98 and they're like, it's not enough. We need more. No one who is gonna have their like their combination is gonna say that it's enough. They're always gonna want more. I love the grade eight, man. I think the grade eight's awesome for Friday nights. I think so. 2 years ago, they had the grade eight combined with Saturday points. I like that idea too. We'll see where the points go. Maybe they'll combine them this year again. Maybe they'll make it a qualifying thing where if you don't, you got to qualify on Saturday to do well to even get into Friday night grade eight. We'll see. I have no idea how it's going to be, but I'm sure it'll be interesting, and I'm sure Friday night will be a big event as well because people pay good money to come see Friday night, and as a fan, you don't really want to just see him grudge racing all night. You'd rather see him racing for something. So not name it. Nobody names names. See, Dave just comes on here to try to get people to talk shit. That's why I love Dave. Is Lizzie coming back? Yeah, as far as I know, Lizzie's coming back. Lizzie's been racing. She was racing. She raced lots at. Forget what event that was. Was that Lights Out? I think. Yeah, Lizzie's been racing. I talked to Pat not that long ago, maybe a couple weeks ago. I talked to Pat on the phone, and he said he was ready to go. So, as far as I know, Lizzie will be racing. Oh, okay, Lawrence. I didn't hear that. Well, I mean, that's good for that doesn't surprise me. I mean, Murder Nova is Sean is a great dude. So I know something like his son's graduation is not going to come in, not going to like, you know, he's going to choose that over anything else. So that don't surprise me at all. That's good. Dave, yeah, Dave likes to stir the pot. Dave's good. Dave's good for that. Yeah, Dave. So you're going to go pro charger? We haven't heard much from Daddy Dave this offseason. What's going on, Dave? Should we get you on the show again? Talk about some things. Haven't heard much, man. You're gonna be running the Audi again, I'm guessing. You're gonna have Pro Charger again. Yeah. Oh, I did see some things though, right? You're getting rid of some of the metal. I think you're getting the car a little lighter from what I saw. You're getting rid of because you had a lot of steel panels on there, didn't you? Stock steel panels, I think. You gotta get rid of that steel, Dave. You gotta go to the light stuff. Yeah, I hope Jerry has a better year. He should, man. I mean, at the end of the year, he had that car running pretty good. He did. He was running some quick laps. So there you go, Dave. Carbon's the way to go, buddy. Yeah, Lawrence looking for Dave to put up a new YouTube video too. Agreed, Doc. I don't blame Sean at all. Yeah, but speaking of Jerry, yeah, I hope they have a better year because it was really weird to see Jerry not have a good year. I know it was a new car and everything, new car blues and all that stuff, but I know those guys work hard and they're smart and they know what they're doing. So I expect Jerry to have a much better year this year than last year because Jerry was always a top 5 or 10 guy too every season. He won his first event 2 years ago. That was in Colorado. He's a guy you root for. Good old Jerry. I haven't had Jerry on an interview. I know I did a little. He was on a way back in the day, a couple years ago. He came on. It was me and Stoos and Bobby Ducote were doing a little live feed, and then Bobby got Jerry to come on. It was fun. There's an idea, Dave. Somebody should drive that car. Is it the driver or the car that gets the points? Just kidding. But we are at an hour here. You know how I like it to. I don't like it to go drag on and stuff like that. So I'm gonna get off here. I'm glad y'all came on to say hi. Thank you all the drivers for coming in the chat, chatting with me. Appreciate you guys like you wouldn't believe. Excited to see all you guys in April at the first race. Thank you to all the fans who came on here. I'm gonna try to bring you the content every week like I do. Try to do some new stuff to keep it interesting. But I appreciate everybody coming on. I will do an interview next week with a driver. So check it out if you like. Otherwise, you guys have a good night, and I will talk to you soon. Peace.